make the Latin patties. So off we go. We have 1/3 of our nut pate base here ready to go in the bowl. We are going to mince up some cilantro. Now I have in the recipe in the book 1 tablespoon of minced cilantro. If you don't like cilantro at all, obviously omit it. But if you like a little bit more, you may want to add a little bit extra. Keep in mind when you're pulling the leaves off of the cilantro that by the time you mince it, it boils down to almost nothing. Little catchphrase in our family, but it literally does go down to almost nothing. So when you are putting the leaves aside, you want to aim for about, I don't know, half a cup, maybe a little bit more of leaves. And then by the time you mince that down, you end up with about a tablespoon. There we go. Now you want this nice and fine, just so that every little bite of the Latin patty will have some of this delicious cilantro in it. I love the fresh, delicious flavor of this spice. Can't get enough of it. So once you have it relatively uniform, we're going to go ahead and add that right on in. That looks pretty good. Add that right on in. Now comes the decision of how spicy do we want to make our Latin patties. Now I'm going to start with just a little bit of red pepper. I'm going to use about 1/3 of red pepper and about 1/3 of a yellow pepper as well. Now, of course, these do not have a spicy flavor. They have a little tang to them. Nice flavor, crisp and fresh, but they're certainly not spicy. Now, if you don't normally eat red and yellow peppers, I encounter that from readers a lot. I don't like red peppers. I encourage you to go ahead and give them a try in this recipe. The whole idea is not to sit down and eat a big vegetable that you don't like, but if we mix it in and we flavor it well and we season it up so that it's really tasty, you probably will really enjoy it. And the good thing about venturing out of your box and trying some extra vegetables that you wouldn't normally eat is that you want to eat across a rainbow of, literally a rainbow of flavors. You want to make sure that you're getting the different phytonutrients that are represented by the different colors of vegetables. So you want to make sure to reach out and go ahead and try things even if it's not your natural favorite. There we go. So we have some pepper in there. Now I like spicy food, my family likes spicy food, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a jalapeno in here. We're just gonna cut this in half. We're even gonna quarter it. Actually makes it a little bit easier to get the seeds out. And we do want the seeds completely out of there. So I'm just going to pull the pith and the seeds right on out of there. And then we're going to do that to each section. And I'm gonna mince this up and we're gonna put this in here. Now, if you don't want it spicy, obviously you'll wanna omit the jalapeno. Maybe you wanna go with something just a little bit milder. You could use a poblano, that will give you a little bit of flavor, but not so much spice. If you wanna go really crazy, you could add a little habanero. That'll definitely put some kick into your Latin patties. So we're gonna just get that minced up here. And then the rest of the seasoning is completely up to you. I suggest using a smoked paprika, just because that's gonna give it a little bit of a smoky flavor, almost as if it had been grilled, which I really enjoy. I also like a cumin taste, which is a really common spice in any sort of taco seasoning or taco meat package that you might have grown up with. So it sort of brings in that taco flavor, brings that taco flavor to mind. So I will add a little bit of cumin here today, but that's up to you. Go ahead and give it a taste anytime you want. Again, that's another benefit of these raw dishes. This is not going to give you salmonella if you stick your finger in there and give it a little bit of a taste. So let's get that pepper nice and minced so nobody gets the surprise bite with the big piece of pepper in it. Once we have that in there, we're good to go. Now, we're going to add a little bit of lime juice here too. That's going to give it a nice zest. And also the citrus will act as a natural preservative, keeping the vegetables that are in here nice and fresh and also giving it a nice zing. Love the taste of lime juice too. Okay, so there's our lime juice. Let's see how much I get out of that half of a lime. That's good. We're aiming for about a teaspoon of additional liquid. That's going to dehydrate out when we put it in either the dehydrator or the oven. That's going to add maybe a 1/4 to a half teaspoon of cumin. And we're going to add a little more of the smoked paprika. Again, that's where it's going to give it the smoky flavor, almost as if it has been cooked on the grill. So I'm going to go ahead and season that right on up. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper as well. And just a dash of our Himalayan sea salt. Smells good already. Okay, now once again, we're going to get our hands in there and get this job done right. Pull our sleeves up, we have clean hands, and on we go. We have a dehydrator tray ready to go, and we're going to make these a completely flat shape so that when my family looks in the refrigerator, they're gonna recognize that these are a Latin patty. So if there's multiple different kinds of meat dishes in the fridge, or mock meat dishes, obviously on the raw diet, we're not gonna have any actual meat dishes in there, they're gonna know by the shape that this is a completely different seasoned meatball or meatball, whatever you wanna call these. Okay. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go ahead and just give this a little taste here. I like that a lot. Okay. Of course, my tendency is always to add a little bit more spice, but I want to make sure everyone can enjoy these. I have a little bit messy hands here, so bear with me. We're gonna move the dehydrator sheet over here so you can see what we're doing. Now we're going to have these on the in our diet a couple of times this week. We just don't want to make this for one meal, so I'm going to try to separate this in half and then quarter it again, and I want to end up with 4 nice sized patties. This looks like it might be a little big. I might have to go ahead and do 5 patties, but that's all right. Now these are great served as an actual patty. So I could serve this with some avocado on here. Once it's done up, it'll look more like a burger. So I can serve it with avocado and greens and serve it on a nice little flax cracker or on a lightly toasted Ezekiel bread as a bun. Serve it with a nice chipotle lime sauce or however I want to serve that burger up. So that's how that looks. We're going for something that's not really fat in the middle, that has a uniform thickness. The reason that we want to do that is because we want it to dehydrate nice and evenly. Now we're going to put this on the dehydrator sheet, and we're going to put it in the dehydrator at 105 degrees until it's dry to the touch. And then we're going to go ahead and flip them over and let them dehydrate again. And we want to make sure that they're nice and warm in the center when we serve them. If you make these in advance, you can just pop them back in the dehydrator to warm them up, or even if you have a toaster oven that has a dehydrate function, you can heat them up that way. It's a little bit faster. Okay, so we're gonna get these all done up here, and we're gonna get these in the dehydrator, and we will have Olé burgers sooner than you know. These are rolled into patties. I had a little bit left over, and if I would have added that to any one of these, they would have been a little too fat to dehydrate. So we have a little tiny one over here. That doesn't matter, because what we're gonna use these for is either the burgers, like the Olé burgers with avocado, cilantro, all the Latin yummy sauces and flavors on there, or we can crumble these over our nacho cheese sauce. Delicious. It's just like having a little, taco meat or carne asada nachos. It finishes the dish off. Instead of just having a real veggie vegan sort of dish, it gives it that meaty, hearty flavor so that you don't feel like you're missing out on anything while you're on the cleanse.